And who might you be, animal girl?
Awesome stuff, guys. The Nintendo 64 core has been updated again, and guess what? It's now playing some ROM hacks, some fan-made games, some prototypes, and some homebrew stuff, and it's just amazing. So guys, welcome to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. In this game, that's exactly what we're looking at. We're not looking at any old kind of commercially released games. We're looking at ROM hacks, prototypes, homebrews, fan-made games, and this here is Xeno Crisis, a fine game made by the Bitmap Bureau. It's out for old consoles like the Neo Geo, the Super Nintendo, the Mega Drive, the Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, GameCube, plus some other ones out there. It's also available for modern consoles. I'm pretty sure it's out for like the PlayStations, the Xbox, but I've actually got this for a Nintendo Switch. It just plays so well, and me being like a handheld gaming fan, I really like it on the Switch. It's a good fit for the machine, but it's absolutely awesome that it's working on the Nintendo 64 work in progress core for the MiSTer. Robert, the developer, is just a genius. Do make sure to check out his Patreon link in the description, and if you're able to support his work, then please do so. I also want to take this opportunity to thank a friend of the channel, Terminator 2K2, because he actually gave me the footage for this game. I couldn't get it working on my MiSTer, which is very unusual, because usually what I've found with the Nintendo 64 core is what works for one actually works for pretty much everyone out there. Whenever I've seen something working, I've been able to get it work, but this was hanging for me in the menus. I wasn't having much success, but I'm really excited about this because if you've been on my channel a while, you know I love ROM hacks. I like Castlevania ROM hacks. I've just gone through so many. I like fan games. I like homebrew stuff. So it's nice that this stuff is working on the core now. I have been trying it previously. I've been trying it over and over again. It's not been working. And honestly, like this update is just awesome. And you guys definitely want to try Xeno Crisis. Now you can buy physical editions of this. You can also buy the digital version of this. I think it's like £15, maybe 15 to 18 pounds for the Nintendo 64, and the Bitmap Bureau, the guys are still active. I actually met them at the London gaming market. Really cool guys. It's the first time our kids actually played a Neo Geo on the Neo Geo stick, and they absolutely loved it. But guys, definitely check this game out. If you've got it, the digital version, try it out on your Nintendo 64 core. But let's have a look at some other games as well. I picked a selection of like ROM hacks, prototypes, etc. Let's move on. Okay, next game, guys. Can you actually guess what it is? Well, if you haven't guessed it already, you're gonna guess it in just a second. There you go. That's a little bit of a clue here. Can you guess it? Okay, you've definitely guessed it now. This is actually Portal, a homebrew version of Portal, available for the Nintendo 64, and guys, it looks amazing. Now a friend of mine, Andy D, actually recommended this. Works really well on like modern controls with, you know, dual analog sticks. It just works really well. I was too lazy to connect that. When I was filming this video, I wanted to play it on the Nintendo 64 controller. It does work well on the Nintendo 64 controller. It just takes a little while getting used to the controls because the stick moves you is it forward? Actually, I can't even remember. All I remember, the controls were a little bit unconventional when I was playing, and it took a little while getting used to. That's why I'm looking around like a crazy person all over the place. But honestly, this is fantastic. It's great to see like these ROM hacks working on there now. I heard a lot about Portal on the Nintendo 64, but I never ever tried it. Like, I do like the Portal game, but it's just too... I have to use too much brain power to play it, so it's not something I play. But it's nice to see one of my kids is actually playing Portal 1. I bought him Portal 1 and Portal 2 for the Nintendo Switch, and he's actually playing both of those games, so it's nice to see him check those out. But let's go over some of the new features that are in the latest versions of the core. So the two updates since doing the last video were on the 10th and the 11th. The one I'm running here is the 11th. So the changes in here are RDP, implement static Z or Z value, example for hexen, and then RDP fix bug in 9th bit readback when frame buffer is not 16 pixel aligned, e.g. for Banjo-Kazooie. And the next one is for Banjo, or example Banjo-Kazooie as well, which is fix bug in Blender using wrong Z or Z select in two-step mode, example again Banjo. And then VI horizontal length dividable by 10, more stable analog out. So if you're playing this via analog, hopefully you'll have a more stable experience. I'm playing this via HDMI, especially when I'm capturing everything. But honestly, it's amazing to see where this core is going. Sorry if you're feeling disorientated with my Portal gameplay. Next up, guys, is a prototype, an unreleased game by Rare, and it's called Dinosaur Planet. And I kind of dig the intro. I like the way it looks. I like the way the kind of title screen rolls up, or when you first boot the game, it does look really, really nice. And is this, let me know in the comments, is this something that later kind of became Star Fox, or was this the groundwork for Star Fox? It was definitely the groundwork for something. And guys, this is an interesting game. At least when I'm playing it now, there's kind of like, well, there's no sound, and there's little bits of sound. There's little like when the characters talk, and I have to say the voice acting is fairly bad in this, but maybe that's because there's no other sound in the game, and that's all you can hear. But it's nice when you start it, you're flying around, the controls feel good. Now I feel like I've played this before, even though I think this has just started working on the core. Maybe it did work on a previous version of the core. I honestly can't remember. I've been doing so much N64 stuff that honestly sometimes when I'm going to sleep, I'm like dreaming about Nintendo 64 stuff. Here you go, you can hear a little bit of speech there if you caught that. But this is a decent looking game. I do like it, and it would have been nice if this actually got released. And then after you kind of do the flying parts, you kind of fly down and you do a little part on the ship. So when I spoke about the updates, that was the update for the core on the 10th. Let's now have a look at the updates for the core on the 11th, which is today's one, which is, well, I'll let him stop speaking. Here we go. Implement RD-RAM init to mem size, fixes several games hanging in boot stage. RDP implement Blender Alpha compare check, fixes transparency sprites in for example in Ocarina of Time and Dr. Mario. RSP write DMA now forces DDR3 mux to be exclusive and not interruptible, more consistent behavior. RSP new error flag for address collision detection, and that's the update notes for the 11th. So when I read it when you were viewing Portal, that was from the 10th, and that's the update notes from the 11th. So yeah, it's a bit late here, guys. Like, I wanted to do this video, so I kind of just read that via the test builds and everything that was left there. But honestly, this game kind of looks good. Like for the time, I think it would have been a good game, and this is something I think I would have liked to have seen. And like the characters in there, some of them look really cool, especially some of the bad guys. Okay, so this is like the first kind of boss guy that you see, and I have to say I do kind of like it, and the way the character moves definitely reminds me of Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube. Something that I really liked, but I kind of got bored of it. I can't remember what happened. I never finished Star Fox Adventures on the GameCube.
A long way from home. Crystal, I can't believe the wizard asked a girl to do his dirty work.
How do you know the wizard?
Let's just say we had a nice little chat, and he's agreed to take a rest for a while, at least until I've taken over the planet.
You coward, Scales! My mother will send an army against you!
Ah yes, Princess Kite, your mother. Once I've dealt with this animal, then we'll pay your mother a visit.
Okay, so I kind of went quiet there so you can hear some of the speech. I guess I'm talking over it now. It's very interesting. It doesn't sound that great without any other sound. Let me know your thoughts about it below. What do you think of it? But it's definitely nice to see this prototype working. Anyway, let's move on to the next part now. So I did get myself a few Super Mario 64 ROM hacks, and this one here is called Peach's Fury. And as you can see, you kind of get into the game. It didn't crash on me or anything, but do you remember like some of the other games while you know, before the core got to where it is now, like when you were going around the level, like things were like they weren't colored in, they were like black shapes. This is what it is on a ROM hack. I'm sure later on they'll work. I just kind of wanted to test them out. I mean, the cores come a lot further, a lot better. Games are playing amazingly, so these are ROM hacks. So don't judge the core on this. I just kind of want to put this on there I wanted to put this in the video because, do you know what, guys, like I wasn't really expecting these to work, and when I tried them, a lot of stuff actually did work, even though it's not looking 100% correct. This is a ROM hack, but you know, you can kind of boot into it. Okay guys, the next one is, well, as you can see on screen, Super Mario 64 Land. And this kind of reminds me of, like, do you know, like the modern games we've got? Is it Super Mario 3D Land? We've got one, it was really good on the 3DS. Again, like I always say, I never really played too many 3D platform games. I did try a lot over the years, I just couldn't get on with them, and I kind of like the way this ROM hack looks. Like, let me know in the comments below if this is something you played, because I know a friend of mine, Mazamars, who's also a developer, does a lot of stuff for the Analog Pocket. He ported like the Vertex Neo Geo core over, some original cores as well that he's working on, but he's a big Nintendo 64 fan, and he always kind of told me about ROM hacks for Nintendo 64 or Mario 64, and it's something that I never ever really checked. And now that we've got an N64 core, it's definitely nice to check this stuff out. Now, I do like the way this ROM hack looks. Unfortunately, it just crashes. So this is my second take on this. The first time I went and spoke to the princess. As soon as I spoke to the princess, it just crashed on me. It hung. So this time I'm just trying to kind of run around the level, and I'm trying to jump into painting to see if I can start the level. I can see like a flashing arrow there, but I couldn't quite work it out. Maybe I need to do something, or maybe I need to speak to the princess, and then I can get in there, but I didn't want to go there because it will crash. So I kind of jumped around a little bit. It did eventually crash once I spoke to Toad the second time, but we don't need to look at the crash, you know, just this. Yeah, these ROM hacks are coming along, so I'm sure with more updates, as Robert, just as the core matures, like pretty much everything that works on hardware will eventually work on this core. And honestly, it's nice to see this stuff because I love ROM hacks. Oh, and there you go. We did actually get to the crash, so that's where it crashed for me. Okay, and this is the final ROM hack we're looking at. Now, I have actually covered this on the channel before in a dedicated video, and this is absolutely fantastic. It runs brilliantly. It didn't crash for me. It is just such a great game. I'm a big Mario Kart 64 fan. I've always kind of said my favorite Mario Kart will always be the Mario Kart 64 one. I played it on the SNES. It's really on the N64 when me and the guys used to get together, and you know, my friend Chris, we always went around his house, and it was Chris's house was like, when we were in school, it was like Facebook before Facebook. Like, his dad was so cool, like he could have as many friends as he wanted around, so everyone was always around his house. So it is where we kind of hung out while we were at school. And honestly, this is just, it is just absolutely fantastic. And this is Super Mario Kart 64 amped up, and it is, honestly, it is just such a great ROM hack. Something everyone should try on this core, even if you're not on the MiSTer, and you know, even if you're on an emulator, wherever you are, try this game. If you like Mario Kart, you are gonna love this. But for us, it's awesome that we've got this on the MiSTer. It's got different modes in there. It's got different tracks in there from different games, man. It is just awesome. Now, before I end this video, if you're still here, I just wanted to kind of point a couple of things out. Now, I did a video, one of the previous ones I did was kind of talking about the new PAL feature, and I kind of made a lot of mistakes in there, but a lot of that stuff was based on my experience, because even though, as I found out from you guys educating me, UK had a good standard. UK had SCART available, but not everyone had SCART TVs. A lot of us had TVs that our parents kind of bought us and had in the house, and a lot of them were still only RF, and we played a lot of stuff at 50 hertz. So I learned a lot of stuff in there. Like, forgive me for like any of the mistakes and stuff I make. I know I do kind of go on with a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff I kind of talk about on this channel, like I always say, I'm not the most tech guy. A lot of it is my actual experience, and my experience was I didn't really get onto SCART until kind of like the PlayStation 2. That's when I remember getting SCART, you know, PlayStation 2, the GameCube, and the original Xbox. That's when I remember having SCART. I even got Component at one stage, which was absolutely fantastic. But that's really it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, if you're trying out the MiSTer core, try out the ROM hacks. If other ROM hacks work, if there's other ones out there, recommend them to me, because hey, I haven't really dabbled too much with the N64, you know, especially back in the day, beyond like, you know, your GoldenEye, your Mario Kart, and a few other of the popular games. But that's really it for this video, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then hey, a subscription and a like is super appreciated. If I sounded a little bit off today, I am sorry. Like I worked, I've got a late start tomorrow, so I'm kind of up late, man. Like I'm up for like 18 hours, and you know what, I do get tired, but I wanted to put this video out because hey, there's an update, or there's been 2 updates. I didn't do a video with the last update. I wanted to do one for this one. Anyway, guys, I feel like I'm going on. Let's end the video. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other, guys. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.